Now we have to go over what components are. You have been using components in these videos already, such as the button, card, chip, input, all of these from MaterialUI. Those are all components. What we're going to do here is show you how those actually work. So if we get rid of all of these, just leaving the person name, we don't care about these states for now, we'll keep this as a state. And what we'll do is add a new file for your component, and that's going to be person name.tsx, and don't forget the x at the end. TSX means that it's a TypeScript file that you can render out of, meaning that it's not just for functional use, it's for displaying things as well. So as we already know, we're going to have to grab React as an import so that we can do React stuff. We're going to export whatever we're doing inside of here, and we're going to export a function called person name, open close braces, and we'll return from this function a div with my name for now. Now this is a component, and it's called that because it returns HTML rather than some functionality like our add words together. This is a function because it does some functionality. Person name returns a component which is determined by the fact that it's got HTML inside of it. Now we can import that from app.tsx the same way that we did add words together, except it's going to look more like the MaterialUI stuff because it's a component. It looks like this. So we can import that in two ways again, either by writing it out manually, or VS Code should be able to help us by doing Control and space. Click that and it knows where to get the import from. So app is now calling person name, which is just a div that has my name written in it. So save this and go to your web page, and there it is, my name. Now we mentioned before about the props of these components. Our person name component has no props in it as it stands, but we can go and add some. So the props is defined by the first argument of person name. So here I'm going to add my props, and the props has to be an object, and we'll call one of the props name, and that will be a string. So if we save this, the compiler complains because on app.tsx we're calling person name, but we're not giving it the name prop. So here we have to say name, and we're going to say prop name. Now we're calling person name and giving it a prop called name with the value of prop name. As of right now, this isn't doing anything, but we can make it do something by saying in here, in this div, instead of saying my name, we'll say props.name, and now that should output whatever we're passing it. So it should output prop name. Save that. There it is. Now the way that we'll realistically use this is by giving the prop the person.name. I'll save that, and now it should say I have no name. I notice that we don't have to change anything in person name now because we've got that set up the way we want it to be. We could just change the props that we give it, and it will change the output. Now if you imagined it being as before where we were changing the person name, this component would update automatically and the output would be different without us having to do anything there. Because the prop that we're passing it would be updating, and that would update the component. So that's the basic overview of how to define a component and what it looks like. But you already know what a component can do because function app is a component. You've been defining a component all along. So all of this use state stuff and the functions and anything else we've done, the CSS, that can all be done up here in the person name as well. So you can see where the app is being called in index.tsx, which is the first thing that will be run when the project starts. And it's saying render this component, which is the one that we've been fiddling with. But don't worry too much about the details of this, just know that this is where the project starts, and it's saying start with running app. Now we know how to set up the component, we can actually go to the final episode, which will be using everything that we've learned all together. And what we're going to do is just make a to-do list.